Have you ever wondered why Aquarius, a sign often associated with innovation and deep intellect, is also considered one of the most misunderstood and, perhaps, even hated zodiac signs? What is it about Aquarius that seems to stir up such strong emotions? Both admiration and resentment? In this video, we will dive deep into the very traits that make Aquarius stand out. You might think you already know the reasons, but there's a twist, one surprising reason behind the perception of Aquarius that may completely change how you view this enigmatic sign. If you've ever felt frustrated or intrigued by someone born under the sign of Aquarius, this might give you a fresh perspective and possibly a new understanding. Aquarians are known for their unique ability to stay ahead of the curve. Their desire for freedom and their rebellious nature, but is this what makes them the target of disdain? Or is there something much deeper at play? From their emotional detachment to their eccentric approach to life, we'll uncover the secrets behind their often misunderstood demeanor. But wait, there's one reason that even Aquarians themselves might not want you to know, a revelation that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about them. Before we get started, think about your own experience with Aquarius. Have you encountered one in your life who left you feeling confused, inspired, or even frustrated? Share your zodiac sign and birth date in the comments. I'd love to connect with you and explore this fascinating topic together. So, stay with me until the very end as we unravel the truth behind why Aquarius might be considered the most hated sign, and how these misunderstood traits can actually be strengths in disguise. Trust me, this is something you don't want to miss. And if you find this video insightful and intriguing, make sure to subscribe to Zen Mind Peaceful Life. By subscribing, you'll join a peaceful community dedicated to understanding the mysteries of the zodiac, improving self-awareness, and creating a harmonious life. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, let's begin the journey of discovering what makes Aquarius one of the most fascinating yet misunderstood signs in the zodiac. 1. Aquarius is often too successful for others to relate to. Aquarians are often seen as trendsetters and innovators, capable of creating ideas and concepts that seem out of reach for most others. Governed by Uranus, the planet of innovation and sudden changes, Aquarians possess an ability to see what others cannot. They are visionaries, always a few steps ahead of the curve. However, it is precisely this forward-thinking mindset that can make them feel unapproachable or even untouchable to those around them. From a psychological standpoint, people generally have a tendency to feel comfortable around those who share similar experiences, struggles, and goals. When someone seems to live in a different reality, one of consistent success and breakthrough ideas, it can create feelings of envy and resentment. Aquarians, with their natural ability to turn abstract ideas into reality, can often be perceived as smug, distant, or even arrogant by those who struggle to keep up. While their success is admirable, it also places them in a separate category from most people. This creates an unspoken divide, making Aquarians less relatable to others. People in their circle may begin to harbor feelings of resentment, seeing Aquarians as living in an idealized world of their own creation. What seems like a natural gift to Aquarians, a drive for constant progress and success, can be seen as a source of frustration and competition for others who feel left behind. 2. Emotional detachment and quick recovery from breakups. One of the most well-known traits of Aquarius is their emotional detachment. When relationships end, Aquarians often move on with surprising ease. While many people struggle with heartbreak, some even dwelling on it for weeks or months, Aquarians can process the pain quickly and keep going. But to others, this emotional resilience may be seen as coldness or a lack of empathy. From a psychological perspective, emotional detachment is a coping mechanism. Aquarians, ruled by the rational Uranus, prefer to analyze their emotions from a distance rather than getting lost in them. This can be beneficial in many ways. It prevents them from being bogged down by emotional turmoil. However, for those who experience deep emotional connections and expect some form of emotional reaction or closure, Aquarius' lack of a dramatic response can seem heartless. In relationships, this ability to cut ties and move on quickly can be misinterpreted. It can make the other person feel abandoned or rejected, leaving them to question whether the Aquarius ever truly cared in the first place. This quick emotional recovery doesn't necessarily reflect a lack of depth in feeling, but rather a different way of coping. Aquarius has learned to value independence above all, which often means they place their emotional needs second to their sense of freedom. This can be difficult for others to understand, making Aquarius seem uncaring or cold. 3. Unconventional and eccentric nature. Aquarians are known for their eccentricities. They reject societal norms in favor of exploring their own unique path in life. This refusal to conform makes them fascinating to some, but for others, it creates a sense of distance and discomfort. People who prefer more traditional ways of thinking and living may find Aquarians' free-spirited nature frustrating. They tend to think outside the box and can challenge conventional ideas in ways that others might view as too extreme or impractical. Astrologically, Aquarius is an air sign, which means they are highly intellectual and abstract in their thinking. They do not follow the mainstream trends, and they are not concerned with the opinions of others. Their quest for individuality and uniqueness can lead them to experiment with new ideas, concepts, and lifestyles that seem completely foreign to those who are more set in their ways. From a psychological standpoint, Aquarians' need to stand out and be different is often driven by their deep sense of self. This desire to break free from conformity is not just about rebellion, it's about expressing their true, authentic selves. Unfortunately, this can alienate them from those who value stability and predictability. Aquarians' eccentric behavior may be misunderstood as attention-seeking or disruptive, but in reality, they are simply following their true calling. The tension between the Aquarian need for self-expression and the societal need for conformity often leads to misunderstanding, making them difficult to connect with for those who prefer conventional ways of thinking. 4. The quiet rebel, a subtle, unpredictable defiance. On the surface, Aquarius may seem calm and peaceful. But beneath that serene exterior lies a subtle, quiet rebellion. Aquarians are not the type to make a scene or shout their views from the rooftops. Instead, they challenge authority and push boundaries in quiet, unexpected ways. Whether it's rejecting societal norms, questioning the status quo, or advocating for causes they believe in, Aquarians often take a stand without anyone really seeing it coming. This unpredictability can be unsettling for others, especially for those who value order, stability, and predictability in their lives. Aquarians' refusal to conform to traditional expectations can create a sense of uncertainty in their relationships and social circles. People who prefer a more structured approach to life may struggle to understand the Aquarian need for constant change and challenge. The way Aquarians break free from constraints is not always overt or loud, but it's always there, undeniable and ever-present. This creates an aura of unpredictability that can make Aquarius seem difficult to pin down or even unreliable. In relationships, this quiet rebellion can cause confusion. When an Aquarian acts in ways that seem to defy expectations or disregard the feelings of others, it can create a sense of tension. Their refusal to submit to societal rules or to follow a predictable pattern can leave others feeling unsettled. For those who are looking for stability, the Aquarius' need for change can seem frustratingly erratic, contributing to their reputation as a sign that is hard to trust or understand. 5. Brutally honest, but at what cost? One of the most polarizing traits of Aquarius is their brutal honesty. Aquarians value truth and clarity above all else. They don't sugarcoat things and will tell you exactly what they think, even if it's uncomfortable. While honesty can be a virtue, it's important to recognize that not everyone is equipped to handle the raw truth without it causing harm. Astrologically, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet of innovation and upheaval. This influence makes them highly direct, often to the point of bluntness. They don't believe in hiding their opinions or softening their words for the sake of politeness. However, this level of honesty can easily be perceived as tactlessness or insensitivity by those around them. From a psychological perspective, Aquarians' need for honesty stems from their deep-rooted belief in transparency. They believe that the truth will set people free, even if it's painful. However, they may not always consider the emotional impact their words can have on others. People who are more sensitive or who value emotional consideration might feel personally attacked by the Aquarians' directness. While their intentions are usually good, the lack of a filter can cause tension and misunderstandings. The very quality that makes Aquarius an excellent communicator, an unwavering commitment to the truth, can also lead to friction in relationships. Especially if their words feel like an attack rather than a conversation. These 5 traits, success, emotional detachment, eccentricity, quiet rebellion, and brutal honesty, are some of the key reasons why Aquarius is often misunderstood and even disliked. However, as we continue to delve deeper into this fascinating sign, you'll discover that what might appear as flaws are actually just different approaches to life. Aquarius challenges us to think differently, act boldly, and embrace change. While their traits may be difficult for some to understand, they offer valuable lessons in independence, authenticity, and emotional resilience. 6. Aquarius values freedom above all else. Freedom is perhaps the most important value for Aquarius. Ruled by Uranus, the planet of sudden change and independence, Aquarians are not the type of people to be easily controlled or confined. They believe that everyone should have the right to live life on their own terms. This need for freedom is so deep that it often becomes a source of tension in their relationships. Psychologically, the drive for freedom comes from Aquarius' desire to explore life without constraints. They view the world as a vast expanse of possibilities, and they want the freedom to pursue whatever they see fit. Whether that means changing careers, moving to a new place, or even exploring unconventional relationships. However, this can be extremely challenging for those around them who seek stability and routine. For a partner or a friend who craves a more traditional and structured relationship, Aquarius can feel unpredictable and aloof. The pressure to give Aquarians their space and freedom often leads to feelings of neglect, frustration, and confusion. In relationships, this need for freedom can make Aquarius appear emotionally distant. While they may deeply care for their loved ones, they are unwilling to sacrifice their independence for anyone. This can be difficult for people who expect emotional closeness and security in their relationships. While their need for freedom is not meant to be an insult, it can often make them seem selfish or indifferent. 7. Aquarius can be extremely detached and aloof. Aquarius' emotional detachment is one of the traits that people often find most frustrating. Unlike other zodiac signs, Aquarians can sometimes appear emotionally distant, even when they are in close relationships. This emotional aloofness comes from their tendency to detach themselves from emotions in order to see the bigger picture. From an astrological perspective, Aquarius is an air sign, meaning they are ruled by logic and reason rather than emotion. While this detachment allows them to make rational decisions without being clouded by feelings, it can also make them seem cold and unapproachable to others. They are often more comfortable analyzing emotions from a distance rather than fully immersing themselves in them. Psychologically, Aquarians' detachment can be a defense mechanism. They guard their hearts closely and rarely allow themselves to become vulnerable. For them, opening up emotionally can feel like a loss of control. In relationships, this can lead to misunderstandings, as others may feel like they are being shut out or neglected. The Aquarians' reluctance to express their feelings or show emotional vulnerability can make them seem unfeeling or indifferent, even when they genuinely care. Aquarius' tendency to retreat into their own world can create an emotional barrier, leading others to believe that they are difficult to connect with. People who crave emotional depth and connection may find this trait especially frustrating, as Aquarians prefer to keep their inner thoughts and feelings private. 8. Aquarius can be unpredictable and inconsistent. One of the hallmarks of Aquarius is their unpredictability. They are constantly evolving, and their mood, thoughts, and behavior can change rapidly. While this can make them exciting and dynamic, it can also be a source of frustration for those who prefer consistency and stability. Astrologically, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet of sudden changes and upheavals. This influence makes them naturally inclined to embrace change, often at a moment's notice. They may suddenly switch their focus or direction, leaving those around them scrambling to keep up. While this flexibility is one of Aquarius' strengths, it can also make them seem unreliable or even flaky. Psychologically, Aquarius' need for change and variety stems from their desire to avoid stagnation. They thrive on novelty and are constantly searching for new experiences and ideas. However, this desire for constant change can make them appear inconsistent. One day, they might be deeply passionate about a new project, and the next day, they may lose interest and move on to something else. This lack of commitment can frustrate those who prefer routine and stability in their relationships or work. For friends, family, and partners, dealing with Aquarius' unpredictable nature can feel like walking on eggshells. You never know what to expect from them, and their sudden shifts in priorities or interests can leave others feeling uncertain about where they stand. While their unpredictable behavior might be exciting for some, it can be stressful and unsettling for others who seek more predictable patterns in life. 9. Aquarius' need for intellectual stimulation can make them seem detached. Aquarius is known for their intellectual nature. They are constantly seeking new ideas, perspectives, and knowledge. Their minds are always at work, and they often prioritize mental stimulation over emotional connection. This focus on intellectual pursuits can make them seem distant or detached from those around them, especially in romantic relationships. Astrologically, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet of intellect and innovation. This influence drives them to explore complex ideas and seek out new ways of thinking. Aquarians are often more interested in discussing abstract concepts or global issues than in engaging in deep emotional conversations. They are more likely to want to discuss the future of humanity or the latest scientific breakthrough than talk about their own feelings. Psychologically, Aquarius' need for intellectual stimulation comes from their deep curiosity and desire for growth. They thrive on learning and exploring new ideas, which often leads them to prioritize their intellectual pursuits over their emotional needs. This can be difficult for those who want to connect with them on a deeper emotional level. In relationships, Aquarius may appear aloof or uninterested in emotional bonding, which can lead to frustration and feelings of neglect. This focus on the intellectual rather than the emotional realm can make it hard for others to connect with Aquarius on a personal level. While Aquarians are undoubtedly brilliant and insightful, their constant need for mental stimulation can leave others feeling like they are not as important as the ideas and concepts that occupy their mind. 10. Aquarius can be emotionally unavailable. Another reason why Aquarius is often misunderstood and disliked is their tendency to be emotionally unavailable. This trait is tied to their need for personal space and freedom, as well as their emotional detachment. Aquarians are not inclined to open up easily about their feelings, and they tend to keep their emotions locked away behind a rational, intellectual exterior. From a psychological standpoint, emotional availability is crucial for building close relationships. However, Aquarius' tendency to keep their feelings to themselves can create a barrier to intimacy. They often prefer to analyze their emotions from a distance rather than expressing them openly, which can make them seem distant or indifferent to those around them. In romantic relationships, this emotional unavailability can be especially challenging. Aquarians may find it difficult to express their love or commitment in ways that others can understand. They may not be comfortable with overt displays of affection or emotionally charged conversations. Instead, they may show their love through actions or intellectual conversations, which can feel impersonal to partners who crave emotional closeness. Aquarians' emotional unavailability can also stem from their fear of losing their independence. They value their autonomy and are often reluctant to become emotionally dependent on anyone. This fear of emotional attachment can cause them to withdraw when relationships become too intense or demanding, leading others to feel rejected or unimportant. 11. Aquarius can be aloof and hard to read. Aquarians are often seen as mysterious or hard to read. Unlike other signs that wear their emotions on their sleeves, Aquarians tend to keep their feelings and thoughts to themselves. Their aloofness can make them appear distant or even uncaring, especially to those who are used to more expressive or emotionally available signs. Astrologically, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet of unpredictability and independence. This influence makes Aquarians inherently difficult to predict. They prefer to operate on their own terms and rarely conform to others' expectations. While this independence is part of their charm, it can also make them seem emotionally unavailable. People who are used to more direct forms of communication may struggle to connect with Aquarians, leading to frustration and feelings of rejection. Psychologically, this emotional distance is a protective mechanism. Aquarians value their personal space and often guard their emotions closely. They don't easily open up to others and may take a long time to trust someone enough to share their inner world. While this can be seen as a sign of emotional maturity, it can also leave others feeling disconnected and confused. In relationships, this aloofness can be perceived as a lack of interest or affection, which may create tension and lead to feelings of resentment. 12. Aquarius can be stubborn in their beliefs. While Aquarians are known for their open-mindedness, they can also be incredibly stubborn when it comes to their beliefs. Once they form an opinion or belief about something, it is difficult for them to change their mind. This can create conflict, especially with those who have opposing views. Astrologically, Aquarius is an air sign, known for their intellectual approach to life. They are often deeply entrenched in their values and beliefs because they are driven by a strong sense of justice and fairness. However, their idealism can sometimes make them inflexible when it comes to different perspectives. Once an Aquarian decides that something is right, they will argue their case to the end, even if it means alienating those who disagree with them. Psychologically, this stubbornness can come from Aquarius' need for control. They have a strong desire to feel like they are making the right decisions, and changing their beliefs can feel like a loss of personal power. This can make them appear rigid or unwilling to compromise, leading to frustration from others who may feel like they are being shut out. In relationships, this stubbornness can lead to conflict, especially if an Aquarius refuses to listen to others' opinions or try to see things from a different perspective. 13. Aquarius' emotional detachment can make them seem cruel or heartless. While emotional detachment is one of Aquarius' greatest strengths, it can also be one of their most frustrating qualities. Their ability to remain detached in situations that would normally elicit a strong emotional response can make them seem cold, cruel, or even heartless. Astrologically, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, a planet that emphasizes individuality and rationality over emotional attachment. Aquarians are not inclined to get caught up in emotional drama. They prefer to analyze situations from a logical perspective rather than reacting emotionally. However, this detachment can sometimes be seen as a lack of empathy or caring. When an Aquarius is faced with an emotional situation, they may distance themselves, which can make others feel abandoned or unloved. Psychologically, this emotional detachment is a defense mechanism. Aquarians have a deep fear of losing their independence, and they often feel that getting too emotionally involved can limit their freedom. This fear can lead them to suppress their emotions or avoid expressing them altogether. In relationships, this can create a sense of emotional disconnect, leaving others feeling like their needs are not being met. While Aquarians are not intentionally trying to hurt anyone, their emotional detachment can make them appear unkind or uncaring. 14. Aquarius' need for intellectual stimulation can make them seem detached from reality. Aquarians are known for their intellectual prowess and their constant search for mental stimulation. However, this intense focus on abstract concepts and ideas can sometimes make them seem detached from the realities of everyday life. Astrologically, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet of intellect and sudden change. This influence drives Aquarians to seek out new ideas and experiences that challenge their thinking. However, this constant thirst for knowledge can make them lose touch with practical matters. They may become so absorbed in theoretical or philosophical discussions that they forget about the mundane aspects of life that others find important, such as family, friends, or daily responsibilities. Psychologically, this tendency to prioritize intellectual stimulation over practicality can lead to feelings of frustration for those around them. Aquarians may be seen as absent-minded or detached from reality, as they often appear more interested in discussing abstract ideas than addressing the practical needs of their relationships. In a romantic relationship, this can create a sense of emotional neglect, as Aquarius may be too caught up in their intellectual pursuits to focus on the needs of their partner. While their intellectual curiosity is a strength, it can also make them seem distant and disconnected from the world around them. 15. Aquarius can be too idealistic, leading to disappointment. Aquarians are dreamers and visionaries. They have big ideas and a strong desire to change the world for the better. However, their idealism can sometimes lead to unrealistic expectations, which can cause disappointment when things don't turn out the way they hoped. Astrologically, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, a planet that encourages progress and change. Aquarians are often passionate about social causes and pushing for reforms that they believe will benefit humanity. However, their desire to create a perfect world can sometimes cloud their judgment and lead them to set unattainably high standards. When things don't go according to plan, Aquarians can become disillusioned or frustrated, leading them to retreat from the situation altogether. Psychologically, this idealism is driven by Aquarius' deep sense of justice and fairness. They believe that the world can and should be better, and they are willing to fight for that vision. However, when they encounter obstacles or resistance, they can become disheartened and lose their motivation. This can make them seem fickle or inconsistent, as they may abandon projects or causes that they no longer believe are achievable. In relationships, Aquarians may project their idealistic expectations onto others, leading to disappointment when those expectations are not met. 16. Aquarius can be detached from the needs of others. While Aquarians pride themselves on their independence and self-sufficiency, this very trait can make them seem detached from the needs of others, especially in relationships. Aquarians are not naturally inclined to cater to emotional demands and may struggle with the more intimate and nurturing aspects of relationships. Astrologically, Aquarius is an air sign, which tends to prioritize mental connection over emotional closeness. They are highly intellectual and enjoy abstract thinking, which sometimes leads them to overlook the emotional needs of those around them. This detachment can feel isolating to their loved ones, who may crave more attention and emotional support. In romantic relationships, Aquarians may seem cold or aloof, not out of malice, but simply because they don't instinctively tune into the emotional undercurrents of the relationship. Psychologically, this detachment is often a defense mechanism. Aquarius places a high value on personal freedom, and they may shy away from overly emotional interactions that could threaten that freedom. Their inclination to distance themselves can create feelings of neglect or even abandonment for those who need more emotional connection. While Aquarians are certainly capable of love and loyalty, their expression of these feelings is often more rational than emotional, making it hard for others to feel truly understood or cherished. 17. Aquarius' strong desire for change can create instability. Aquarians thrive on change and innovation. They are constantly seeking to improve themselves and their environment, always looking for new ways to grow. However, this constant drive for change can make them appear unstable or unreliable to others, especially those who prefer consistency and routine. Astrologically, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet of sudden and disruptive change. This influence makes Aquarians restless and unwilling to settle into a comfortable status quo. They are always looking for ways to evolve, but this can sometimes be at the expense of stability. In personal relationships, Aquarians may resist commitment or long-term plans, fearing that it will restrict their freedom or force them into predictable patterns. This can lead to frustration for those who seek more stability and security in their relationships. Psychologically, Aquarius' need for change is rooted in their desire for personal growth and improvement. They see life as a continuous journey of transformation and are never content with the present moment. While this drive for evolution can lead to incredible breakthroughs and achievements, it can also create a sense of insecurity for others who feel like they are constantly being pulled in new directions. This constant flux can make Aquarius seem unpredictable, even reckless, and leave others wondering where they stand in their relationship or situation. 18. Aquarius idealism can make them unrealistic. Aquarians are known for their strong sense of idealism and their desire to make the world a better place. They are often passionate advocates for social causes, fighting for justice, equality, and humanitarian efforts. However, their idealistic views can sometimes lead to unrealistic expectations, both for themselves and for others. Astrologically, Aquarius is driven by a vision of the future that is often far removed from reality. They dream of a perfect world, free of inequality and suffering, and they are willing to fight for these ideals. However, this can sometimes lead them to set goals that are overly ambitious or difficult to achieve. In relationships, Aquarians may project their ideals onto their partners, expecting them to live up to a standard that is simply impossible. Psychologically, this idealism is tied to Aquarius' desire for progress and transformation. They believe that things can always be better, but this constant push for improvement can make them seem disconnected from the practicalities of life. They may overlook the fact that perfection is rarely achievable and that the pursuit of unrealistic ideals can cause unnecessary frustration. While their intentions are noble, their inability to compromise or accept the limitations of reality can make them difficult to work with or relate to. Conclusion: understanding Aquarius, a sign of strength and vulnerability. As we've uncovered, Aquarius is a complex and multifaceted sign. While they may seem cold, unpredictable, and sometimes difficult to relate to, their traits come from a deep place of independence, intellect, and a desire to make the world a better place. Their challenges, including emotional detachment, stubbornness, and idealism, can often be misunderstood or even resented by those who don't fully understand the motivations behind their behavior. Aquarius' tendency to prioritize freedom, embrace change, and seek intellectual stimulation is both a strength and a source of frustration. Their quest for self-expression and personal growth often leaves them feeling disconnected from others, creating tension in relationships. However, beneath their aloof exterior lies a sign that is passionate about justice, equality, and progress, qualities that, when understood, can lead to admiration and respect. The key to understanding and connecting with an Aquarius is to appreciate their need for space and freedom, while also recognizing their deep sense of loyalty and desire for meaningful connection. If you can embrace their uniqueness and give them the room to grow and evolve, you may discover that Aquarius has much to offer as a friend, partner, or colleague. In the end, Aquarius teaches us the value of thinking outside the box, embracing individuality, and staying true to one's principles, even when it's not easy. If you find yourself struggling to understand an Aquarius, remember that their traits are not flaws, but simply different approaches to life that, with time, can be respected and appreciated. If you found this video insightful and have gained a deeper understanding of Aquarius, be sure to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with these reasons, or have you had different experiences with Aquarians? I'd love to hear your stories and opinions. And don't forget to subscribe to Zen Mind Peaceful Life for more astrological insights, personal development tips, and ways to create a more peaceful and balanced life. If you haven't already, tap the notification bell so you never miss out on our future content. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, remember to embrace the unique qualities of the people around you. And keep striving for peace and understanding in all aspects of life.